What up, YouTube? Welcome to Chicago Reacts. My name is Jared, joined by the beautiful Kelly. Today we're going to be reacting to the Napoleonic Wars Part 6. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more of our content. And man, Part 6, this is going to be interesting.
Napoleon's revenge.
Austria coming off an absolute wild win.
Austria came in hot.
And they came in hot. And Napoleon, you know Napoleon's got something up his sleeve. He always does. So
I'm scared.
let's just jump right into this one.
All right.
In May 1809, the Austrians had defeated Napoleon's army in the bloody Battle of Aspern. His enemies took heart. After years of French military dominance, it seemed the tide was turning at last. 3 weeks later, Pope Pius VII excommunicated Napoleon for annexing papal land. Another propaganda coup for his enemies.
These illustrations.
But in the wake of its victory, Austria hesitated, not sure whether to seek peace or continue the war, while Napoleon responded with a hurricane of activity. He summoned reinforcements to join him near Vienna. The Army of Italy, under his stepson Eugène de Beauharnais, and 11th Corps under Marshal Marmont, who'd together driven Archduke John's Austrian army out of North Italy, as well as Marshal Bernadotte's Saxon 9th Corps. Napoleon's army grew from 90,000 to a massive 164,000 men and 544 guns, to take on Charles's army of 128,000 and 414 guns. 6 weeks after his first attempt had ended in defeat, Napoleon ordered his army to cross the river once more. This time his engineers had built solid bridges across the Danube to ensure there was no repeat of the disasters of Aspern. For the French army, Napoleon declared, the Danube no longer exists. The stage was set for the largest battle yet seen in European history. On the evening of the 4th of July, in heavy rain, the French began crossing from the island of Lobau, not towards the devastated villages of Aspern and Essling, but east towards Groß-Enzersdorf, which was soon ablaze from French shells. Archduke Charles had left only a small advance guard to delay the French. By dawn, General Massena's 4th Corps and Oudinot's 2nd Corps were driving those troops back, winning space for the French army to deploy. At 1 p.m, Napoleon was ready to begin his advance across 6 miles of flat cornfields towards the main Austrian position, an escarpment known as the Wagram, 100 meters behind the Russbach stream. As General Lassalle's light cavalry and Massena's 4th Corps swung left to guard the flank, Oudinot's 2nd Corps and Davout's 3rd Corps advanced towards the Wagram. Bernadotte's Saxon Corps and Eugène's Army of Italy filled the center. At 6 p.m, unsure of the enemy's strength, Napoleon ordered a full-scale assault against the Wagram plateau.
Full-scale assault.
But his troops met determined Austrian resistance along the line. By dusk, the Saxon 9th Corps had pushed into the village of Deutsch Wagram. The Saxon infantry wore white uniforms, like the Austrians, and as darkness fell, were mistaken for the enemy and fired on by friendly units. The Saxons panicked and fled with heavy losses. Napoleon's attempt at a quick breakthrough had failed. That night, both armies slept in the open, while Charles and Napoleon planned their next moves.
What?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let's just go to bed and then we'll just figure it out tomorrow. But
figure it out later.
we're gonna get you.
On the second day, Napoleon planned for Davout's 3rd Corps to lead the attack, rolling up the Austrian flank, while his other corps pinned down the enemy with local attacks. But to the Emperor's fury, he learned that overnight, without orders, Marshal Bernadotte had withdrawn his battered Saxons from Aderklaa, which the Austrians now occupied. Aderklaa was a crucial strongpoint in the centre of the battlefield. Napoleon gave orders for its immediate recapture, but the French and Saxon attack failed, with heavy losses. The Austrians had their own problems. Archduke Charles, knowing he faced a superior enemy, had decided his only chance of victory lay in an all-out dawn attack. He was relying on his brother, Archduke John, reaching him with 13,000 reinforcements, in time to support the attack on the left. But by dawn, there was still no sign of him. What's more, as 4th Corps began its assault on Grosshofen, on time, 3rd Corps, which had received its orders late, was still getting into position, holding up the entire Austrian right wing. Charles had to tell 4th Corps to abort its unsupported attack until the other corps were ready. With the Austrians paralysed by delays, at 10 AM, Davout began his attack. A fierce infantry battle erupted in the village of Markgraf Neusiedl, while in the fields, dragoons and hussars fought a giant whirling cavalry battle, as each side tried to outflank the other. Davout's corps took the village, though they couldn't stop the Austrians withdrawing to a strong new position on the Wagram escarpment. Meanwhile, a serious threat had developed to Napoleon's left flank and rear. Klenau's 6th Corps had driven back the outnumbered French, with some units advancing as far as Essling, dangerously close to Napoleon's vital river crossings. Napoleon urgently needed to reinforce his left flank, but he was also determined to hold back his reserves for a decisive attack. So he ordered Massena's 4th Corps to march across the battlefield and reinforce the left. A huge redeployment like this, right in front of the enemy, was high risk. So Marshal Bessieres was ordered to lead a cavalry attack straight against the enemy centre. Casualties were high. Even Marshal Bessieres had his horse killed under him, to the alarm of his men. But the enemy was kept busy, while 4th Corps completed its redeployment and forced Klenau's corps to fall back.
Wow.
Napoleon now assembled a grand battery of more than 80 cannon in the centre of the battlefield. This was one of Napoleon's trademark tactics, a concentration of artillery to blast the enemy line and pave the way for a decisive French attack. The Grand Battery fired an estimated 15,000 rounds, setting light to the cornfields. Around 1 PM, Napoleon ordered a general attack. As Davout continued to batter at the enemy flank, 4th Corps would advance on the left, 2nd Corps on the right, while in the centre, General MacDonald would lead forward 8,000 men of the Army of Italy, formed up in a giant three-sided square to secure his flanks. But despite the terrible French cannonade, Austrian 3rd Corps and Grenadiers of the Reserve met the French advance with torrential fire.
Could you imagine the
MacDonald's giant
noise?
square
Oh my
was cut
gosh.
to pieces, its men mowed down en masse by cannon fire, and the attack stalled. But the Austrian army, battered by relentless French attacks, was near breaking point.
Wow.
Every part of the line was under pressure from the French.
Just full throttle.
You knew that.
Archduke Charles, determined
Yeah.
above all to keep his army intact, ordered a retreat. The Austrian withdrawal was disciplined and well executed. Napoleon had his victory. But his army was also so shattered by fatigue and heavy losses, it was unable to launch any effective pursuit.
So it's like oh a snap. You don't want to cross
The Battle
him.
of Wagram was a brutal,
Napoleon is
slugging
crazy.
match.
She's a sicko.
Biggest, bloodiest battle yet seen in European history. French victory came at unprecedented cost. An estimated
Oh my gosh.
37,500 casualties against 41,500 Austrian.
That's crazy.
4 days later, French troops caught up with the retreating Austrians at Znaim. As the fighting escalated, Charles knew he could not withstand the French a second time and asked for a ceasefire. But he had not consulted his older brother, Emperor Francis, who was furious when he heard the news, not least because long-awaited British support was finally on the way. 3 weeks after the Battle of Znaim, the largest amphibious force Britain had ever assembled, 35 ships of the line and 39,000 troops, landed at Walcheren Island on the Scheldt estuary. Its aim was to destroy French shipping and naval stores. But following the successful bombardment and capture of Vlissingen, British commanders let the initiative slip from their grasp. Their force was bottled up by French troops on the marshy Dutch coast, where it was decimated by fever and dysentery. About 4,000 died. Many more became permanent invalids. The survivors were evacuated back to England in December. Emperor Francis, informed of the British debacle and persuaded by his generals that Austria couldn't fight on, made peace with Napoleon. In October, Austria signed the Treaty of Schonbrunn, giving up territory to the French Empire, Bavaria, Saxony, the Duchy of Warsaw, and Russia. In total, the Austrian Empire was stripped of 3.5 million subjects, forced to pay an indemnity, limit its army to 150,000 men, and join Napoleon's continental system, which meant ending all trade with British ships and merchants. Archduke Charles, meanwhile, one of Napoleon's more skilled opponents, had fallen out so bitterly with his brother, Emperor Francis, that he never held active command again. Napoleon had won another crushing victory, but there were worrying signs for the French emperor. His enemies were learning, while he would increasingly have to rely on young conscripts to fill the gaps left by veterans killed or wounded on campaign. Few could have guessed in 1809, but Napoleon had just fought his last victorious campaign. If you'd like to learn more about Napoleon's major battles or campaigns, our sponsor, Osprey Publishing,
Waterloo.
has nearly
Don't even get
200
me started.
titles on the Napoleonic Wars.
Wow.
Wow, Austria just again putting up a fight, but they just weren't ready for that final
The Napoleon heat.
Napoleon heat. Yeah.
Yeah, he just dominated everybody. That's crazy.
I
I
wish
didn't
we-
know that.
Yeah, I mean they made peace, but like I kind of want to see. I want to see a rematch. I mean, let's go best three. Let's go best 3 out of 5. You know, I mean Austria. You know
Yeah,
you know they would make those adjustments and come back strong. But
The smart move is to definitely retreat, but like I don't know.
that was
There were so many deaths, so
so
that's
many deaths.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Don't go a rematch. But no, seriously, Austria like put up a fight better than any other
That's true.
any
yeah.
other country. Napoleon didn't know what to do at one point. Finally, came back in part 6 and finished them off. But,
Yeah. They had good plans though, good intentions
yeah.
to take them down.
Yeah. Well,
Just-
Austria. I mean, they were basically copying what France was doing. You know, as far as
Yeah.
like the bombardments and just their strategy overall. They were
Right.
very very similar in a lot of ways to what France was doing, and I think that retaliation from Napoleon was just too much
Yeah.
in the end. So
Nobody can take him down.
nobody could take him down. He went out
Crazy.
on top. I mean, there you have it. Part
History.
6. The Napoleonic Wars. We've learned a lot in
Yes.
parts 1 through 6.
We have learned a lot.
More than I ever would have thought
Yeah.
about the Napoleonic Wars. And we thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and check out our other videos as well. If there's another video you want us to react to, let us know down below in the comments, and we'll see you guys next time.
Okay, that's a wrap for part 1.